And the funny thing is that, see, at the end of your life, at the end of anybody's life, see, lots of people are going to regret the days that they spend at the office. Very few, if any, people will ever regret having had the kids that they had. More often than not, they'll wish they had had more. You see, because children give your life meaning. So on my YouTube feed, there was this video by a pair called Greg and Mitch. I'd never heard of them, to tell you the truth. And they were saying how you shouldn't have children. You shouldn't have children because, well, children cause so many problems in your life. You know, they're expensive. They said something like that the average kid costs $13,000 a year, which I think it's probably a lot more. I have 4. Okay, and I can assure you that they are very, very expensive. So they were saying that they cost a lot of money. They deprive you of your sleep because they're crying and all the rest of it. They hold you back in your career if you're a woman. You know, and there seems to be some sort of discrimination against in favor of men who have children, something weird like that. They were sort of implying. They were also implying that basically the quality of your life will deteriorate if you have children. And to all of these considered reasons that Greg and Mitch were saying, I have to say, yeah, they're right. You know, yeah. I mean, if you want to have more disposable income and, you know, be able to buy more stuff, I think having children is a tremendous mistake. If you want to, you know, only live for yourself, having children is horrible. If you want to have a better sex life with more interesting partners and more interesting combinations of people, yeah, absolutely. Having children is just a horrible thing and you should not do it. I mean, what insanity is this? I mean, what bullshit is this? What insanity are we fomenting in our society if we actually take seriously these two individuals, these Greg and Mitch, saying that you should not have children? What the hell is going on? What bullshit is this? Because it is bullshit. Because see, like the best bullshit, on its surface, it seems reasonable. Because it is absolutely true, by the way, that children cost you a pretty penny. I mean, I'm talking, you know, the doctor, when the delivery room, and the clothes, and then this and that, and you have all kinds of medical expenses just to make sure that the kid is okay. And then you have clothing and the toys and the furniture and this and that and the other. And you know, those bills pile up awfully quickly when you have a child. They're absolutely right when they mention this. And they are absolutely right when they say that sleep deprivation is a big deal insofar as having a child. You know, with a newborn, even up to the age of a toddler, you know, you lose sleep, you lose a ton of sleep. They say that you lose something like 6 months worth of sleep. I would not be surprised if that were accurate. Absolutely. Prima facie, what they are saying is true. Having children is detrimental to your life on a superficial, financial basis. Absolutely true. See, but like I said, the best bullshit floats on a surface of truth. And this is no exception, because you see, what they're not telling you here is that when you have children, your life changes radically. You are no longer a child. You are no longer a good consumer in this capitalist consumer society. You become a man or a woman. And as such, your life, your priorities, your interests, everything about your life changes radically, because all of a sudden you are responsible for another human being. Now, once you become responsible for another human being, your priorities, what matters to you, changes, and it changes enormously. Money is no longer an issue, because you're not thinking that, oh, I'm going to get money so I can buy stuff for myself. You're looking at money as merely a tool to provide for your family. I can say this as a man. I work harder because of my children, because I'm interested in providing for them. I'm not particularly interested in getting more toys, getting the latest iPhone. My iPhone is like 3 years old, and they announced some very expensive one. Before I had children, sure, I'd be thinking, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna wait around and get that X one, the one that costs like $1,000. Sure, I'm gonna get it. Now, Why would I bother? I have other priorities, other things that are more important. It's not that I am denying myself. It's that all these things are no longer important. Because what children gives you is a sense of understanding what is truly important and what does not matter. Having toys, having little gadgets and crap like that, it's sort of like you're a drug addict and then all of a sudden a light switch gets hit and all those drugs that you were so interested in getting, i.e. all those toys that you had to have, well, you don't even think about them. Because the children become your priority. I'm speaking as a man, as a woman. I know lots of women who have had children. And lots of women, I've known young women, girls, who grew up and they were narcissistic and sort of bitchy little nothings, right? And then all of a sudden they have a kid and they change radically. And all that narcissism and self-centeredness turns towards their child. And they become a much fuller human being. Because that's the thing that people don't seem to tell you very much. You see, when you're a young person, you are callow. You are superficial. Frankly, you're an idiot. Once you have a child, your priorities change. And as they change, who you are as a man, as a woman, flowers. It blossoms. You become more fully who you are. You become not self-abnegating, that's not quite true. What happens is that you simply learn to recognize what's important and what's not. And you focus on what is important and you start to value things very differently. That iPhone that used to be so important, now it's just like, who gives a shit? But what starts to matter is the time you spend with the people you love, the time you spend with the people who love you. That becomes important. Having the latest doodad, the latest gadget, doesn't matter. Going to the hottest show, doing something like that, that doesn't matter. Sleep, that matters, And you start to value the sleep that you used to have, You think back to yourself when you were in college, when you go to bed at 4 in the morning and wake up at 3 in the afternoon and just fritter away the whole day, and you think to yourself, God, I can't believe I had so much free time. Because once you have a kid, you have no free time. None whatsoever. And Greg and Mitch are absolutely right that your quality of life deteriorates insofar as you are concerned. But oddly, the quality of your life improves because all of a sudden you have a goal, a reason for being. You see, Greg and Mitch are focusing the whole issue of having a child or not having a child from the point of view of selfishness. But once you have children and you devote all of your time towards them and your effort and energy towards them, you become bigger, a bigger person. Frankly, you become a more interesting person. You become a more complete person. Look, the funny thing is that I'm telling you all of this and it's hard for you to believe me because more likely not, you who are watching this do not have a child or have not had to raise a child. But I'm telling you, that's the way it is. It's the secret, of being a parent. It's not fun. It's a lot of misery, a lot of worry. You worry all the time over every little fucking thing, right? The kid coughs and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's just a cough or maybe it's like pneumonia. You get all paranoid about shit, about trivial shit, not about yourself, about the kid. The kid coughs, or it gets a pimple or anything, and you start to freak out a little. It takes an actual effort of will for you to control your paranoia because you are worried about something more important than yourself. And that's a wonderful thing. You free yourself from your own consciousness, your own selfish and narcissistic preoccupation with yourself. And you focus on somebody else. As a man, you're going to work a lot harder because you're going to be trying to provide for the child. As a woman, you might have a career. You're not really going to give a shit about the career after you have a kid. Because you're going to realize that the career is so unimportant when compared to the kid. Or kids, as the case may be. And the funny thing is that, see, at the end of your life, at the end of anybody's life, see, lots of people are going to regret the days that they spend at the office. Very few, if any, people will ever regret having had the kids that they had. More often than not, they'll wish they had had more. You see, because children give your life meaning. If the only meaning you aspire to in a life is consuming goods and services, gadgets, iPhones, going to hit shows and crap like that, expensive restaurants, if that's the only thing that matters to you, then don't have a kid. Don't have a kid. You know, you're going to be miserable. Because kids are misery. Kids are constant worry. They make you very happy, though. They make you so supremely happy. Listen, it's a little bit like sex. See, before you had sex, you heard of it and you heard it was pretty good, but then when you actually have sex, you realize what it's about. And you realize that it's not as incredible as it's cracked up to be. And having children is not as incredible as it's cracked up to be. It's a lot of work. But just like sex, you know, once you have had sex, once you have had kids, you realize the true satisfactions of it. And you realize, oddly enough, that it's not superficial. It can be very profound and very moving and can change your life in ways that are extraordinary. And you realize after the fact, after you've had kids, after you've had a few years of getting used to it, after you've grown into the man or the woman that you truly are, you realize that your life, who you are, is incomplete without children. And that the person you were before you had children was half a man, half a woman, incomplete. But hey, you know, what do I know? I only have 4 of them. If you like this content, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you really like it, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.